Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. So today I'm starting a very exciting week on my channel, and it is going to be dedicated to Gourmand fragrances. You know that I love sweet scents, and Gourmands are absolutely my favorite type of fragrance. So I decided to dedicate the whole week to these types of scents. And this will consist of 4 videos. As you saw by the title, today I'm going to talk to you about 10 of my favorite Gourmand fragrances from my collection. Next will be a video about a very exciting Gourmand release from a very interesting house. Then I will introduce you to 2 maybe not very well-known indie Gourmand houses, and we're gonna end the week with a very exciting haul full of Gourmand fragrances. So I hope you enjoy this week, and I hope that you stay with me and check out all of the videos. But as I said, today I've chosen 10 Gourmand fragrances from my collection that I want to share with you. And of course, I have a lot of Gourmand scents and I have a lot of favorites, but I had to narrow it down to 10, and so I could have chosen a lot more, but I decided to choose maybe some of the fragrances that I haven't talked about recently. But I'm sure you know that I have a lot more and I love a lot more. Okay, let's start going through these Gourmand scents. First one is Black Phantom from Killian, which is a newer fragrance in my collection, but the one that has very quickly become one of my absolute favorites. The main notes in here are chocolate, rum, caramel, coffee, sandalwood, almond, sugar cane, and it is a very sweet and nutty and thick fragrance. Yes, it has a little bit of booziness, but I would not call it very boozy. This is not something that really stands out to me about this fragrance. It is more chocolatey, nutty, very thick, very kind of gooey type of scent. It is absolutely amazing. I have fallen completely in love with this scent, and I have been using it so much ever since I got it. Next one is the one that I have shown before, but it has been a while since I've showcased in any of my videos, so I decided to include it here. And it's a fragrance from the house of Tiziana Terenzi called Alcante. This is a beautiful bakery type of scent. It sort of smells of freshly baked bread. We have cocoa powder, hazelnut, vanilla, tonka, sandalwood, benzoin, but this fragrance is not overly sweet at all, and I think it is completely unisex and might appeal to those that don't enjoy very sweet scents, because it is definitely not very sweet. It just really smells like freshly baked bread, like you were inside of some, I don't know, little French or Italian bakery and they just brought out the freshly baked bread. It is a beautiful, delicious, kind of understated Gourmand, I would say, but a really interesting one. So again, this is Alcante from Tiziana Terenzi. Next one I featured in my best discoveries of 2020 video. It's an amazing fragrance that I discovered last year, and it is Nia from Juliette. And I absolutely had to include it here because it's an outstanding Gourmand and a very different and unique type of Gourmand in my opinion. This is of course mostly about very sweet dates, but you also have pomegranate juice, you have caramel, you have palm leaf. There are other notes, but these are kind of the main ones that stand out. So it's sweet dates drizzled with pomegranate juice and a little bit of caramel, and then you have a bit of freshness that palm leaf brings in and sort of doesn't make this fragrance too sweet, but it is definitely very sweet, so it will appeal to those that enjoy, you know, tooth-achingly kind of sweet fragrances, because it is that. But I absolutely love it. The note of date in here is outstanding, and overall the performance in the fragrance is also outstanding. The lasting power, the projection, the sillage, everything is outstanding in this fragrance. So Nia from Juliette Matte absolutely had to be on my list of favorite Gourmand fragrances. Next, I'm going to mention a fragrance from the house of Noble 1942. And yes, of course, I could have easily mentioned here Dances of the Dragonflies, because you know that I absolutely love that fragrance, but I talk about it so often that I decided to feature another beautiful fragrance from that house, and that is Café Chantant. So this is of course also Gourmand. We have in here vanilla, benzoin, musk, sour cherry. Sour cherry is very puzzling to me in this fragrance because I do not smell any kind of cherry. Overall, the vibe that I get from here, it's like some kind of sponge cake dipped in a bit of rum. It definitely has that kind of boozy quality to it. It has a very small touch of freshness, and it is definitely very smooth and buttery type of scent. So again, a very, very beautiful Gourmand. Next on the list is a fragrance from Penhaligon, and it is Changing Constance. And yes, let's start with the fact that performance on this one is terrible. I mean, I can honestly say it, it's terrible. The lasting power is just not good, but the fragrance is so beautiful that I just have to keep it in my collection and I have to wear it. And what I have been doing recently is using this before going to bed, because you know, I don't need the longevity to be amazing once I fall asleep. I don't care if I can smell the scent. So I really have been using it a ton before going to bed. I just absolutely love the scent, and I cannot get rid of this fragrance just because the performance is bad. But for those that are interested in purchasing this, yes, be aware that at least on me, and I've heard from quite a few other people that have the same experience with it, the performance is really, really bad. Now, what is this fragrance about? So we have caramel, salt, vanilla, tobacco, and really it is kind of salty caramel with a touch of smokiness from tobacco, although tobacco is quite light. If I didn't know that it was in here, I'm not sure if I would even smell it. There's just a little bit of smokiness and salty caramel. It is such a beautiful Gourmand. I just wish they could do something with this fragrance to actually make it last. Next, I have a long-time favorite, a fragrance that I've had in my collection for a while, a fragrance that I have spoken about many times, and a fragrance that I continue to enjoy over and over again. This is the only one from Dolce & Gabbana. Of course, here we have coffee, we have caramel, there's pear, there's vanilla, there's some florals, and I think some citruses in here as well. Overall, it is a kind of a sweet coffee with caramel, but it definitely has a touch of freshness to it. It is not overpowering. It does smell like you're inside of a Starbucks. It smells like some type of Starbucks drink, at least to me. Maybe not even exactly like the drink, but it sort of gives me the vibes of being inside of Starbucks. I absolutely love the scent. Every time I wear it, I am sort of surprised just how much I enjoy it, and I keep wanting to reach for it over and over again. That's why I absolutely had to include it in this list. Next fragrance that I have is from Guerlain, and this is another longtime favorite. This is La Petite Robe Noir Intense, and this is my absolute favorite flanker of La Petite Robe Noir. This one is really about blueberries, cotton candy. I think there is some vanilla. There might be some other notes, but that's basically what I get. It's blueberries with cotton candy. It is so comforting and happy and just very cheerful fragrance. It just always puts me in a good mood. Again, it's a fragrance that I really enjoy wearing at home, especially in the evenings or before going to bed. So again, I've had this for quite some time in my collection and I really continue to enjoy it. Next, I'm going to include another relatively newer fragrance in my collection. This is from the house of Shay and Blue, and this is called Black Tulip. And again, of course, I could have included Salt and Caramel in here, but you already know how much I love that fragrance, and I haven't spoken as much about this one. That's why I decided to include it, because it is another beautiful gourmand. So of course, as the name suggests, we have tulip in here, but we also have other florals. We have plum, we have white chocolate, and it was the note of white chocolate that initially got me interested in this fragrance. And this is beautiful and a little bit unique to my collection, because typically I'm not too crazy about the note of plum, but it is done beautifully here. It is surrounded beautifully, or wrapped beautifully, I would even say, in this white chocolate. It really feels like you have sort of this dried plum covered in chocolate, and then there are a bit of floral nuances in here which kind of tone down the sweetness maybe and the note of plum, and just work beautifully together. This is very, very interesting gourmand. If you are looking for something maybe slightly out of the ordinary, maybe slightly unusual, I would definitely recommend this one. And we're going to end this list with a gourmand star from my collection. Did you guess what it is? If you did, please let me know in the comments below. It's one of my all-time favorite gourmand fragrances, and although I've spoken about it so many times, I have to be honest with you, and I have to include it on this list. Of course, I'm talking about Unknown Pleasures from Kerosene. I have just completely fallen in love with this fragrance. I love it more and more every time that I wear it. It has, of course, vanilla, caramel, there's a tea note, lemon, honey, tonka, but basically you just get this caramel with vanilla with a little bit of tea. It is so beautiful. Like I said before, to me, this really feels like I'm drinking a cup of tea with condensed milk. That's the vibe that I get from it. It is sweet, but to me, it is not tooth-achingly sweet. The tea brings some really nice sort of strength, and maybe even a bit of tea type of freshness to it. It is just so smooth and creamy and buttery and just magical. This scent is really magical to me. You know, as many gourmands as I have, this is definitely at the top of the list, and so I had to include it here. So this is the list of my 10 favorite gourmand fragrances. Of course, like I said at the beginning, I could have included so many more, but I wanted to narrow down this list to 10. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and definitely let me know if you enjoy gourmand fragrances, and if you do, what are your favorites. And I hope you will join me in the other 3 videos in this gourmand week. So I will see you in the next video, which will showcase an amazing new gourmand release from a very interesting house. Thank you for watching. I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.